12 of the biggest football clubs in Europe are being accused of greed after announcing a new breakaway league. European football's governing body, UEFA, says it will do whatever it can to stop the new Super League. 6 teams from England, including Liverpool and Manchester United, will be joined by 6 sides from Spain and Italy in the new league. The plan is for games to be played midweek, while the teams continue to play in their own national leagues on weekends. Reaction has been fast and furious. UEFA, along with the English, Italian and Spanish leagues, say Super League, calling it a cynical project, founded on the self-interest of a few clubs. They say the clubs will be banned from playing in other competitions. Even British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has chimed in, saying he will make sure the new league won't go ahead. Most of the anger has come from football fans, including those who support the breakaway teams. Liverpool supporters group Spirit of Shankly say it's appalled. The Arsenal Supporters Trust calls it the death of Arsenal as a sporting institution.
I think it's bad for fans because obviously they're not listening to what the fans want. I think it's all about money really, because when you look at how much the fans put into these Premiership League clubs, they should be at least listened to. This Super League is I think it's gonna discriminate a little bit. That's what I think.
Of course we don't like that idea. I think I speak for most of Leicester fans as well, we don't like this. It seems like a lot of the big boys don't like the idea of smaller clubs crashing their party and taking away some of their revenue and TV revenue, but I think hopefully other clubs will fight it. I don't know, we'll have to see on that one.
I'm reading sort of things like banned from other domestic leagues, kicked out of the Premier League, international players not allowed to play for their countries, so you've got a question, is it worth it?
Football fans here in Singapore also say they're disappointed. There's a huge following for 2 of the English teams, all that have signed up to the Super League, Liverpool and Manchester United.
Liverpool Football Club is supposed to be a family club, a people's club. Unfortunately, if they choose to go with this route, they will no longer be that. It will just be another club that is all about winning. Unfortunately, that will mean spending money and more money.
Ollie Barrett joins us from London for more. Ollie, huge backlash to these plans that we're seeing. What's behind the anger?
I think there are lots of reasons that people are angry, Steve. Many football fans have concerns about the competition that is being proposed. They worry about the idea of a competition which feels like a bit of a closed shop that doesn't have promotion and relegation. Fans worry about the impacts on domestic and European competition as well. They worry about grassroots and lower league football, although the breakaway clubs do say they'll continue to make sure that money does flow from this new competition into the football systems in the countries from which they come. It's seen as a power grab as well by many of the smaller clubs, by the wealthiest clubs, and an attempt, they feel, for those wealthiest clubs to become even more removed from the chasing pack and even more wealthy. Now, we should say there are some fans out there who quite like the idea. Some fans of larger clubs like the idea of playing other big clubs on a more regular basis. But I think it's fair to say, at least in this country, that is definitely a minority view. And overriding all of that, I think fans here just feel it's the latest example of clubs not taking care of what supporters actually want and feel and just running themselves as a business. It's no secret that football is a huge business, is incredibly lucrative, but I think fans feel this is just the latest example of how their feelings aren't being taken into consideration in terms of how the clubs are being run.
UEFA, on their part, are holding a crisis meeting today. Can they really stop the league from taking place?
It's hard to see how they can stop it, although legal action will certainly be taken. What they can do, and what domestic leagues and associations can do as well, is really put in place some kind of sanctions that would make these clubs and players think twice. Things like saying that players who played in the Super League wouldn't be able to represent their countries in international football. Things like saying that clubs wouldn't be able to play in their domestic leagues, which is what the breakaway clubs at the moment are saying they want to be able to continue to do. Here in the UK, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, is saying that he will try and make sure that this plan doesn't go ahead. We had an update from the Prime Minister's spokesperson earlier. He was saying that all options would be on the table and would be considered. He wouldn't rule out legislation being brought in to try and stop this in some way. He also wouldn't rule out the idea of trying to claw back some of the government funding that was given to at least a couple of the English clubs during the pandemic period, government support that went their way. Some of that money could be attempted to be clawed back by the UK government. That's not being ruled out either. So plenty of options on the table here in the UK, at least.
All right, we'll be watching closely as well. Ollie Barrett, thank you very much for that, for speaking to us from London.